There's something we're willing to pay for and labor for.
Of moral treason, and all the rest of us have to pay for it. There's more from Joseph Stiglitz on our
is that we, the taxpayers, are not getting what we pay for, because 94% of federal IT projects.
I think it's important that we look for ways to pay for our investments, but I think that
But now there's a kind of latte you won't have to pay for. And no, I'm not talking about having someone give you a Starbucks gift card.
Pay through the app. You can pay for like a week pass.
Having good school conditions, people that would pay for people to go through and get their professional development, and then ongoing professional support when they're on the job.
But all of that was totally legal, fully approved pay for Carlos Ghosn. What wasn't quite so legal was the nearly $10 million a year that was secretly being allocated.
Taking their toll, slowing down German forces, and making them pay for every inch of ground.
How to pay for the war through refundable taxes, rationing, and supply constraints. So the war generated a huge accumulation of liquidity that
of germs is the price we pay for the spread of ideas. What do I mean by that? One of the reasons we have evolved to live socially is to learn from each other.
Personally pay for the first month of your subscription. So I want to thank Ren for supporting Veritasium, and I want to thank you for watching.
Battle over the usual question of how to pay for it.
Cousins and several people sent money to her to help her pay for her expenses. And
how do you pay for it? We'll also talk about how to get and stay organized, how to...
I will personally pay for your first month of CO2 offsets.
A few bucks for necessities, or help pay for your grocery trip, or maybe...
Once you get your head around it, it's a very small price to pay for getting to tell stories, and I reckon
at some point someone has to pay for all this. It could be a combination that it all just lands on the Fed's balance sheet and we monetize the debt.
And put in debt because they're expected to pay for their own probation officers and their own electronic monitors.
This is where you pay for the benefit of a product, what it does for you, without needing to own the product.
On you, like no mouths to feed, no house to pay for yet, then you have just more freedom.
Take this, care for him, and I'll pay for any of the difference when I return.
I don't want to have to pay for that audience, so I'm going to create a lot of really amazing content.
Equipment, or pay for building repairs, or even pay salaries and overtime.
It comes with that. I mean, there's a price to pay for that allegiance to
equal pay for equal work everywhere.
Is this going to cost, and who's going to pay for it?
And Jason, that's a good question. And that's something
will send you to, and they'll pay for it. Don't worry, you don't have to have the money to travel. And you will meet people working on
signal. We're going to have to make people pay for the harm they're causing, which I think should
vote for it and pay for it. Is that what you mean?
They have to be making their voice heard to government, so government will enable it to happen.
You have to know how to pay for it. I'm not talking about being a good person. You can do that for free.
and knowing whether and how much you're willing and able to pay for that.
We need a significant price that will pay for that service that we'll all benefit from.
Someone may need to, pay bus fare or gas or pay for childcare.
The money to pay for our rent.
Don't have to go out and raise more money to pay for their care on your own.
Correct.
Okay.
To say, pay for a plan to, I don't know, eliminate climate change. So in early March, McConnell sounded basically resigned.
That you get, and I always think, if you pay for something, what is the value at the end of it? And I think from all these video interviews.
And sleep is the price that we pay for wakefulness. And yes, that's true in part.
The Luna Park itself is free entry, and you only pay for what you ride. With such a rich history, this site makes it worth visiting in its own right.
$1,000 for the stunt, and Yongnin planned to use the funds in part to pay for his wedding.
Restaurants, and access to the beach is free, but visitors do have to pay for access to the park.
I wouldn't want people to think, oh, I'm going to pay for it and then regret it and be and ahhing. I really
has worked, and importantly, how do you pay for it?
You've never run a business.
These dates and letting this person pay for me when I have no intention of furthering the relationship, I would be leading that.
And you pay for it normally, not always.
Because actually men support equal pay for women. Millennials, they support gender equality.
Meaning that what you pay for is what you get. But
and if you can't pay for it, you're out of luck.
Because you pay for the full course, but if you complete every single day.
Technology, the rich could pay for elective genetic enhancements.
For a lesson with them, their prices are really, really good, much better than you would pay for a one-to-one lesson in person.
The bride of the lady getting married to pay for the wedding, but if they're
wearing this bathrobe is dangerous. That's the price I pay for trying to look bougie in front of you guys. I will
unlimited. So you need to pay for 3 months, but don't forget, if you complete the marathon successfully,
I need to pay for the bills first. Here's the thing, dude. Nothing's ever going to be perfect timing.
My response from day one is, one, I have no idea how you pay for it.
States. But my gosh, do they pay for it?
Problem that people want to pay for, put it out there. Like so many people probably come up to you, and I know they
time, sick time, and disability, it's 60% pay for 6 months. Non-birth parents,
which helped them pay for college. College enrollment skyrocketed.
You have to pay for keeping a relationship aloft. Maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth thinking of
this course. You'll find a way to pay for it. Look, you could even.
And frankly, it's frustrating for all of us because we have to pay for it.
And then have that person pay for their own their own utilities, their
president. So the way I propose to pay for a universal basic income is based on a problem we have.
Children. Although women didn't pay for them, they often thought of them as exemplifying their marriage, which
they asked my customers how much they would pay for a night stay at this hotel.
You can dare to make enemies. Indeed, you must do so as the price to pay for having developed a character and found something truly to believe in.
Enough to pay for your basic needs. Food, shelter, clothing.
Don't even think about asking Congress to pay for that. That is not in the realm of the possible.